Hi there, welcome to Kitty Witty Papercraft. My name is Amy, and in this video I have a tutorial showing how I made this little tag for my Christmas junk journal. So it's a decorative element, it's a little shaker tag, it has sequins here in the bottom, and I also covered it in the back with some lined paper so it doubles as a journaling card. And then I just clipped it into my journal with a little mini bull clip. So that is what we are going to do in this video. I'll put my journal to the side. So the idea behind this is I'm calling this a mason jar snow globe tag. So it's just a tag that I turned into the shape of a mason jar. And if you've ever seen, I think it's like a sort of like a Pinterest kind of craft, like a mason jar. Usually they're upside down with a lid at the bottom, and then people will put like a bottle brush tree glued to the lid and then fill it with like fake snow. And then it's like a little snow globe made out of a mason jar. So I turned it this way though, even though that's not like the traditional way a snow globe goes. So there was more space at the bottom. It was kind of narrow, you know, because of the lid shape at the side. So I wanted more space to put decorative elements. So I'm actually kind of doing this in the non-traditional shape, but you kind of sort of get the idea. And I still thought it was kind of fun and still kind of mimics that feel of a mason jar snow globe. So that was the inspiration behind this. And I've got all the supplies that you need to make this listed in the description box below. And it's really simple. You don't need anything really too special, except maybe the tulle. So I kind of take the lazy way out when I make shakers. I have made shakers with like the traditional acetate and fuse tulle to make, you know, closed in little like pocket for sequins. But I sometimes, like I said, taking the lazy way out, I like to use tulle. So it's this like really fine like mesh, so it's see-through, and I just wrap it around the cardstock or whatever I'm using and attach it in the back, and then I fill it with sequins. A few videos ago I showed, it was a couple months ago, I made these little library card pockets in the little shaker in the front. So I made it the same way. It just has tulle covering it and it's wrapped, and I just kind of covered the back with scrapbook paper because it's not very neat in the back when you do that, because you wrap it around and attach the tulle in the back, and then it's filled with sequins, so you still have a shaker, and then you don't have to worry about using a fuse tulle and getting the clear plastic and all that. So, and it has like a nice texture to it too. And I like this particular tulle because it has glitter in it, so it's real sparkly, which is fun. And I thought it also worked really well in this particular activity because it's supposed to kind of look like snow and how it's sparkly when the sun shines on it. This tulle I find at Michael's, but I think any craft store you can find this. It's wide, it's like 6 inches wide, and I think they usually sell this where they have the wedding supplies. So not in the regular ribbon supplies, but like in the wedding supplies. So that's one kind of little special thing that you need for this activity or this tutorial. But everything else is probably things you already have around. So the base of this is a tag. So I am using these distress tags from Tim Holtz. And you can use any brand. It does not have to be Tim Holtz, of course. This is a size 8. It's I've had this for a long time. It's rubbing off. But this is a number 8 size. Is how it's sized, I guess. And it is 6 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And that's the dimensions on it. But you can use any size tag. It doesn't have to be this size. You can use bigger. You can use smaller. And it does not have to be a distress tag because we're just using this as the base. But it's a nice heavy cardstock. And that's where I use that. And you can find those online at Michael's, you know, craft stores and that sort of thing. And before we get into the tutorial, I just wanted to share about the scrapbook papers. like I said, on the back, I'm using a paper that just happens to have lines on it, and I thought that would make it easy for journaling. But of course, that's just optional depending on how you think you might want to use your tag. So the back really isn't super critical. You may not even feel like you're going to have that part showing, so you can decide if you want to even cover it or not. But for the front, I would recommend using a scrapbook paper that's not too busy and not too dark. And the only reason for that is just so the stickers, die cuts, whatever you put inside of it, still like really pop, and you can easily see the details in it and not get lost with a busy background. So that's just a little tip. On this one I used a little stripe, and it's kind of like a bluish color, which I thought kind of mimicked the mason jar look a little bit. On this tag I'm going to use this one that also has like a pale blue color, and this paper's got some little glitter in the center of the flowers, so it's supposed to look like kind of like snowflakes. This is a Christmas paper from My Mind's Eye Christmas collection they had out a couple years ago called Sugar or Plum, I believe. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Okay, so just wanted to mention that. And what you're going to do is you want to turn your tag into a jar shape. So hopefully this is easy for you to see. I will walk through it before I do it myself, but it's really, really simple. You first start with, and I just use a pencil to guide myself because, I mean, you can freehand cut this out. Basically what I'm going to do is where it says cut, I got glitter on my hands, where it says cut out, I just notched out that area. You can certainly just do that eyeballing it. I cannot cut a straight line to save my life, so I measure it out. And all I did is I started by making a straight line right underneath the reinforcer. So I don't do any measuring there. I just make a straight line there. Let me put my glasses back on. Let's see here. So just make yourself, and all this is going to get covered back up, so you can just be as sloppy as you need to be. And then on the second line, you want to make a line from this corner. Here, let me put it on the dark paper so you can see it better. From this corner here, straight down. And that is going to be your second line. So just use my straight edge. And you do it on either side. And then your third line, just so you can get that angle, like I cannot cut an angle so they're the same on both sides, so I found it best just to measure really quickly. And I measured 1/4 inch down from the top line and just made another line there. So, and that is marked right here on the tag that I put the measurements on. Just 1/4 inch down. And again, this is probably not going to be perfectly straight. I mean, I really literally need, like, when I make my journals, I use a T-square because like I really cannot draw a straight line. I can't cut a straight line. But for my own like journal, I just kind of took my chances. I can tell that's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. And then you just want to connect from the top line to the bottom line, just in the corner there. You know, right here where this line ends to the edge of the tag. And then the same on this side. And these are going to be the lines where you cut. Okay, so just kind of cut along those lines there. And this will give us like our lid shape. Okay. And that is your lid shape. Oh, what did I do? I didn't cut this out. Oh my gosh. I forgot one of my little notches there. Okay. All right. So the next thing you want to do, before you cover this with the scrapbook paper for the front, trace the shape of the jar for your back paper. You could attach the back paper and then just cut it out, and then do the same with the front. But you can also just trace it and then cut it out. So that is what I'm going to do here real quickly. And then we're just going to sit this piece to the side, and then you attach this at the very end to the back, and it'll just kind of cover up all the messiness that you will end up with. This scrapbook paper is from another older line, Cardabella, A Very Merry Christmas, I believe. It was one of their Christmas lines from a couple years ago. They had a couple different ones, and I always mix up the names of them, but I think it was A Very Merry Christmas. And it already has lines on it, which is great for journaling. Okay, so we're just going to sit this piece to the side. This is going to go on the back of the tag. Okay. Oops, sorry. All right, so now we're ready to cover the front. And what I do is just cover it completely and then just trim out all the excess. And I really like using double-sided tape for stuff like this, not liquid tape or liquid glue. I just find it's a little less messy and holds really, really well. So just going to tape all around the edges. And it's a little bit tedious, but I just kind of like the results that I get. And you're not going to use the reinforcer, obviously, the hole. It's going to get covered up. And I will show you how we're going to deal with that. I'm going to take the scrapbook paper all the way to the top of the tag, even though, like you can see on this tag, you don't see the scrapbook paper at the top. I actually used washi tape to kind of mimic the lid. So you could use another piece of scrapbook paper to put on top. The reason I used the washi tape is so I didn't have a different thickness. I mean, you could take your scrapbook paper up to right underneath the reinforcer and then take another piece of scrapbook paper in a different color, like something that could differentiate, you know, the bottom jar from the lid, and just use a different pattern paper here to be a lid. But I wouldn't cover the entire tag with scrapbook paper and then put another strip on top, because then this top is going to be a lot thicker than the bottom. Not a deal breaker, but just, you know, something to kind of keep in mind. Okay, so let me get all this off. I didn't do too many like little fun interactive extras in my journal. You know, just sometimes you just want like one or two little special things to add to a journal, and a shaker is kind of a fun way to do that. And I can totally see making these for all different, you know, theme journals. Just change what you put inside of your little mason jar, you know, for the different holidays and seasons. So that could be fun, something that you do any time of year. It doesn't have to just be a snow globe. It can just be, you know, a little jar that has like little sequins and different confetti and things in it, just because it's pretty. All right, so I am going to make sure you have your paper going the right way. I think when I did this the first time, I did it so the back paper was actually what was showing on top. So, yep, just lay that down, and then I'm going to just cut out all of the excess. Try not to cut the tag while you're doing it. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, that is not super neat there. Let's see. There's a little extra up top here. Okay. All right, let me clear my spot here. That is the base of our tag. So because this is supposed to be like a mason jar, I rounded the corners of my bottom so it looks more like a jar. I kept the top straight, and you could round that if you want, but I think it's still, I think most jars, you know, obviously the lid is a circular shape, so the corners probably would technically be rounded, but I was okay with leaving them straight and just cutting the edges. Oh, this is the small, oh gosh, here it is. Hold on a minute. I have to grab my other corner punch. Okay, here we go. So this is a corner punch. So this is another tool. This is just optional. I'll have to remember to put this in the description box as one of the supplies, but it's optional. You can leave the edges, you know, straight. The tag is really thick now that it's the tag and the scrapbook paper on top. This thing is probably filled with scraps. Shoot. No, actually it's not. Well, let's see. Try one more time. There it goes. All right, so it looks more like a jar shape. So let's see. Let me try to remember the order. So now what you want to do, once you have your jar shape, the back's just plain, you want to decorate your tag first. So for this one, because it's supposed to be sort of like a winter theme, I put a doily in the background. This is a mini 3-inch doily from Doodlebug Design. They come in all different colors. I really like this, the size and the design of the doilies in this brand. So I use this as a background thing just because it sort of, like I said, mimics the look of a snowflake, I guess, and it gives the die cut that I'm going to put on top kind of a place to pop, so it's not on the pattern paper. So I just kind of wrapped the edge around, and I will just use, sometimes when I know stuff's not going to show, I'll just use some washi tape to go right on top, because you don't have to worry about how it looks at all. Now on this side, I will use double-sided tape. You could use a glue stick right here, but this scrapbook paper, there's little glitter bits on there, make it so I don't think it would stick really well on with a glue stick. So I will use my handy tape. And I like to use a mix of like die cuts and stickers, and then also some word graphics. So I've got this word at the top, and then I also have a little phrase sticker at the bottom. And I just used some older collections again. I was using Snow and Cocoa stickers, and these are crepe paper. I may use some of the crepe paper for the one I'm making for the tutorial. This one is all from Snow and Cocoa, and this Snow and Cocoa was all about snow, obviously, so I thought that went well with the snow globe. And then they also had these phrase stickers that have to do with the same kind of thing, winter and snow and all of that. So any of those are good choices for a snow or Christmas kind of tag. And then this is a little die cut from Pretty Little Studio, and this one here in my jar also is. So I'm going to use him on here. I haven't really decided what I was going to put on this one, but I will probably do something similar to fill in this area. I'll probably use some stickers there. I might do... My creative process is very messy. This is part of why I don't really do a lot of tutorials, because I think it would be very boring most of the time. Because I spend more time thinking and trying things out, and I don't know how much fun that is to really watch somebody do. I know people say they like to see people's process, but really it's pretty messy and boring, I think, most of the time. I definitely want to use this tree. I used up all these trees here. Oh, here's some. I thought I used them all. They were on this side, but there's some on this side too. Okay, so let's see. The green may not pop. Yeah, it goes pretty well. I thought because the background was so blue, I may not like that, but I think it will work. And I might have this one come off the edge a little bit, and then I'll trim that off. Let's see, maybe like that, and like that. And I just kind of sit it on there lightly before I press it all the way down. And I thought instead of another tree on this one, I might use, here it is, one of these little gift boxes. Yeah, that's kind of cute. So let's see. Sometimes I would have him hang off and just trim his side, but I think I'll just put the whole snowman on there. Let's see, I want to move this inside a little bit. Yeah, like that. And I'm leaving a little bit of space because I know I'm going to be filling this in with sequins and confetti. And that guy there. So to attach him, I'm going to use glue dots. So my two favorite adhesives are glue dots and double-sided tape in all different widths. I have it in 1/8 inch all the way up to 1 inch, just for different, you know, uses and different size pages and projects. And I like glue dots also. Glue sticks are just, I use them too. It just depends on the application. I actually think, he's probably hanging over a little bit. No, actually he's not. So that should be good. And before I trim that off, I'll just make sure I have everything lined up where I want it, and then I will trim that edge off. I do want to put another, I want to do the same kind of thing. I think I want to put something big up here and a word phrase down there. So let's see what we could use here. See, I get really indecisive. Not that I'm indecisive, I just kind of want to find the right thing. But I think for our purposes, I'm just going to pick really anything, just so you get the idea. You don't want to see me hem and haw here. All right, so got that there, and I want to work on the top here. So I liked how this was like really big and bold, but let's see what I have left that would work there. I'm wondering if this "oh so cold" phrase will fit. Each letter is separate, so actually, you know what I'm going to do? Before I do that, I'm going to put the washi on here, just kind of so I have a line and sort of know where I am kind of working inside of. So I used this black and white washi. I figured it can be anything, but I thought this was kind of good enough to mimic the look of the jar. And you can see through the washi a little bit because the background is white. I'm okay with that. You could put 2 layers on of washi if that bothered you, but that does not bother me at all. So I'm just going to go with that. And that's my lid. Okay, so I think I really want to try to do this. So let me see. If I put this on kind of not too firmly, I can maybe play with the placement, because I feel like these letters are really big, and I may not fit all of this on here, but I don't really know until I try it out. So let's see. Let's see. Oh. Do you stick stickers like on your clothes as you're working? Like, I don't want to stick it on my table, but I've been known to go to bed with like stickers and stuff on me. There's glitter in my bed all the time. It's crazy. I think this will fit. Oh, that has a little underline under it. Let me put that on there. I like that. Let's see. I want the it to be a little closer. These, what do you call them? Cardstock stickers are really forgiving. They're my favorite kind of stickers. I don't really care for chipboard stickers. I find they just pop off of things so easily. And certainly for something like this, you don't want anything too thick. It just makes it a little easier to get the tulle on there smoothly if everything's pretty flat. So these are cardstock stickers and this die cut. So they're all about the same kind of thickness, and that works. I think I'm just going to go with that. And I'm going to trim off, so I'm going to press everything down and trim the edge of this tree off here. Like that. Okay, so now I think we are ready to do the next step, which is adding the tulle. So this is how I do this. I know you're thinking, well, you didn't put the sequins in there yet. Hold on, I want to fix this. Actually, after I just pushed it down, I do this all the time. I look at it again, I'm like, I think actually I want it to look a little different. So let's see. Okay, good enough. All right, so the nice thing about this size tag with this tulle is, like I said, this tulle is 6 inches wide. So it is like just the right height for our project, with just enough here to overlap the bottom and the sides. The sides is fine. I mean, you've got plenty to work with there, obviously, but as far as top to bottom, it doesn't give you a whole lot of extra play. I mean, honestly, if you had a smaller tag, you would have even more to play with to wrap around the bottom. So that could be a little bit easier even. But what I'm going to do is, I don't know, I hope this is showing up in the video, but I am taking the tulle right underneath of the washi tape, the lid, if you will, and that's where I'm going to attach it. And we are going to eventually be covering that space with the twine. So it's a little bit of a process. So let me just talk through it really quickly. What I'm going to do is put the really narrow washi tape, adhesive, the double-sided tape, right here underneath of the lid. And I'm going to leave the backing on it, not take it off at first. And then I'm going to wrap the tulle on the bottom and attach it to the back of the tag. That's going to be the first thing. So let me just show you. It's just easier just to show you. So as far as the width goes, you just want enough overhang on either side to wrap pretty securely. So I would do at least 1 inch on both sides of the tag as far as the width of the tulle goes. So the very first thing that we're going to do is attach the bottom of the tulle to the back of the tag. Now, the thing you have to be careful with is you don't want to pull it down so far that the top of your tulle is here, because you want the top of the tulle to attach right there, but you don't want to tack the top down yet because we need to fill it with sequins. So you just have to hold it with your thumb at the top just to not move that, and flip it over. And then you can also keep an eye on your tulle, like right here. Let me put a piece of dark paper underneath so you can see it better. Just make sure the tulle is still lined up like right below that lid, washi line there, so it goes all the way to the top. So then we just have to attach this bottom right here. And I'm just going to use washi tape again to attach that. You can use Scotch tape here because none of this is going to show if you cover the back of it with the scrapbook paper. Okay. So now you have this here, and it's just like a flap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the sequins on here and then bring the tulle back up to cover it, and then wrap it around, and it'll all be secure inside. So for this, you can just use whatever sequin mix, confetti mix you want. I just have a mix of snowflake, confetti, and sequins and little stars in mine. But you can use whatever kind of mix you want. Again, like if you're doing this for a different theme or holiday, you would use just whatever fits the theme that you're doing. So I want enough, gosh, I'm making a mess, to fill the bottom without covering up the words too much. Kind of like that. Okay, well, I didn't put the tape at the top. So what we're going to do is use this 1/8 inch wide adhesive tape. So I get this on Amazon. The brand is Best, B-E-S-T. And it comes in all different widths, and it's permanent double-sided tape. It's really sticky. I really am happy with this tape. And I love this really skinny size. It comes in handy more than you would think. So I'm going to put this tape right at the bottom of the washi lid up here. Okay. And then just peel that off. And bring the tulle up. It'll move around a little bit. The sequins will move around. And then just do it snugly. And press it down into the tape. And then flip your tag over. And then all you have to do is bring the sides in and tack it down. And again, this part can be really messy looking because you're not going to see it. What I'm going to do is you just want to make sure you don't have like any excess hanging over the edge, like, you know, like that. So just kind of fold it around. I'll do the corners in a minute, but I just kind of work, where's my washi tape? Here it is. One little section at a time. So, you know, it's not perfect at first. There's going to be like little wrinkles, but you just kind of keep folding it in and then press it down with washi tape. And even if there's like a little bit of like a bubble, it looks like once you put the scrapbook paper on the back of it, all of that will be hidden. And it's very, the tulle is very thin, very fine. So it smooths out very nicely when you put the backing on. Okay. So let's see. Like I said, you can use Scotch tape, washi tape. I just find that's just so easy. Either one of those options. I'm just kind of folding the corner here. Maybe putting a piece of washi right there just to do the corner. Okay. And then we'll do this side. And I like the way the tulle like feels better than like the plastic, you know, acetate shakers. I mean, they definitely have their place too. And I love how clear they are, obviously. That's nice, but I kind of just, I don't know. I like using the tulle. It feels neat. You know, it has that texture to it and the sparkle that it has. And let me do the top here. Fold in the little corners in. And yeah, this definitely looks like super messy, but like I said, once you put the backing on, it's all going to be covered and you won't even know. I'm just going to do one more there. That looks like a hot mess. Okay, so it's a little bit sticky right here because the tulle is sheer, and that is why we're going to put twine there. But before you do that, obviously you want to cover the back with the scrapbook paper that you chose for the back of your tag. So it's going to be just like this. And I think before I do that, let me punch the corners. I don't know why this corner puncher wants to act up today. Now it's doing fine. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to use double-sided tape again to attach the back. And then we are almost finished. You can see the washi tape popping up. It's, like I said, it's okay. Scotch tape will hold better. I used Scotch tape when I made the first one for my journal. but I actually didn't have any Scotch tape handy, so I am just using the washi tape right now, but it will be all covered up, so it's okay if it's coming up right now. And I am just gonna put the tape in those spots just for the sake of simplicity here, since I'm doing the video. Okay. Yeah, Scotch tape did not pop up at all. So I'm just going to line this up like so. And the other reason I should say why I cut this shape out like back in the beginning, instead of putting just paper on here and then trimming it out, is once you have the back on there, you don't really want to have to trim. Like right here, I didn't cut it super carefully because I was doing a video and I was nervous. If you trim the paper, you've got to be really, really careful because you could cut the tulle and then the sequins won't stay in, obviously. So hopefully you will be more careful when you trim your backing so it fits exactly and you don't have to do any extra trimming at the end. So, see, the back's totally smooth. And I just want to press that down. And then I'm going to take twine. And for this project, I just used, for this one I should say, I used 2 colors, the red and white and the pink and white twine. And I just cut a couple lengths long enough so I could add a bow. And let's see. I just kind of, before I cut it off the roll. And I get baker's twine. The pink one, I think I may have got on Amazon actually. And this one, I got at Michael's. So most craft stores have baker's twine. And when you cover, you know, when you put the twine on, I think I need it to be a little longer. It covers up that stickiness of that adhesive that we put right there. And then it won't be sticky at all. Oops, see, I cut the tulle when I was trimming that a minute ago. So like I said, hopefully you'll be a little more careful when you are doing yours, and you don't have to trim it at the end, so you don't accidentally cut the tulle, because it's very easy to do that. Okay, so now we just need to tie a bow. I'm still getting used to doing tutorials. This is not honestly, my favorite thing to do. I don't know, it's just different when you're filming yourself and talking through something than when you're just kind of in your zone and working, you know, at your table and you've got music on or whatever, deep in your own thoughts. It's just kind of, it's very different. So I'm still kind of getting used to that. So thank you for bearing with me. And there we go. And you can just kind of trim that to where you want. And now you have a little shaker tag mason jar snow globe, and you could journal on the back of it, like I said. So I hope that you give this a try. If you do, and you're on Instagram, tag me on Instagram, Kitty Witty Papercraft, and let me see what you make if you do that. Thank you guys for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions about this tutorial, and I will catch you guys soon. Thanks so much.